Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lupus Fitness 333. My name is Angel. Please like and subscribe. Today's topic is four things. Sorry, fear, consumption, not the disease. What's it called? What you're consuming. We'll talk about that in depth, and working with what you have and exposing your weak points. Now, that last point, we've talked about it many times before. I want to keep on driving that home, okay? So the first thing, fear. People with our conditions, meaning life-altering, life-changing diseases, we deal with fear and pain on a daily basis. This is a sign of you having to dominate fear by being consecutive and consistent with doing something that helps you feel accomplished. Now, for this video, it's the workouts. I believe I've done enough work. I've done plenty of workout videos that you guys could choose from. Obviously, I'm going to still continue doing it. This is a thing that I'm going to do for life. But the reason why I produce workout videos is that's one of the easiest ways that you can one of the easiest things you could do to help you feel accomplished, to give you that rush of endorphins. And like I've spoken before in the last motivational video, I don't know if it was the last one, but that's where it gives you a small window of clarity where your neurons are open for a change, for you to reinforce a change that you want. And it has to be a change that is permanent and beneficial for the rest of your life. Okay? But back to the topic. Fear is the mind killer. Just like they say in Dune, the new Dune, part 1. Okay? It stops you from becoming who you want to be, and it stops you from achieving the things that you desire. One way to accomplish or to overcome fear is simply by doing something repeatedly to the point where you become very proficient and you become confident in how you do it. Because you've done it so many times, you're aware of your capabilities of it. You understand? That's one simple way of gaining confidence. Practicing something so many times that it's not boring, it's enjoyable. You enjoy it. You've gotten past through the many stages of doing something all the time, that you've gone past the boring part, you've gone past the happy part, you've gone past the experimental part, and now it's just in you. It becomes a discipline, it becomes a habit. And this is where you start to flourish, because now you start seeing it objectively. I'm capable of doing this because I've done it so many times that I'm no longer thinking of it because I do it so much. Now I'm thinking of other things, or thinking of ways to make it more difficult for me or challenging, so that I make myself stronger. Okay? That's one thing. Now, consumption, or consuming media, food, and thoughts. We've spoken about this before. You are with yourself 24/7. Now, in the condition that most of us are in, it's a life-altering, life-changing disease. It could also be, and I don't like using this word, which is why I use life-altering and life-changing, but it's life-threatening. That has an upside on top of it being wholly negative, but you could switch that. The upside to that, the benefit of that, is that now you have every reason to make it. Why? Because now you see that your life is short. It's like looking at the hourglass. The hourglass is running out of sand, and you're trying to hurry up and live your life as fast as you can. Now you're gonna realize all the excuses you were giving yourself before don't really matter. You're gonna be like, I can't believe I was stopping myself because of this reason. You understand? Now, I know that's a cynical way of looking at it, but that's how you have to look at it now. Okay? You got to start looking at it like you're running out of time. The faster you accept that, the faster you're going to start changing your perspective of things. Now, don't put yourself in a state of mind of, I'm going to die. Put yourself in a state of mind like, I don't know how much time I have, but I want to make sure that I make the best of it. Okay? And how that ties into consumption is simple. Whatever media you're watching reinforces a state of mind, reinforces a belief, and reinforces a feeling that you have about yourself. You want these three states of mind, or three concepts, to be positive and beneficial for you. You understand? You don't want to be what they call doom scrolling and looking at things of what you are not or what you want. You want to look at things that inspire you or help you, motivate you, or help to remind you that you got to do things that help you change, that help you stay on that path or start walking that path. You understand? The more you do that, the more and more you're going to want to seek it out. The more and more it's going to start showing up in your life because you're thinking about that all the time. All right? One simple way of doing that is thinking about it, or watching something in the morning and watching something at night that helps you be inspired. You understand? There's a quote that says motivation is something that you need twice a day. Now, I believe that you already have one, which is your disease or the life-altering, life-changing condition that you have. You have to use that to your advantage. Okay? That's a big reason why you have to make a positive change. Because if not, you're going to allow it to win. And I've said it before, it's a war. You have to be willing to fight. You have to fight for your life. You cannot allow it to win. It cannot beat you until you've given up, until you allow it to win. Okay? Now, the next topic is, with those things in mind, with those two things combined together, you'll end up developing a resilience. A resilience that helps strengthen your convictions. You understand? You have to start believing that you can make a change. You have to start believing that, how do I say it? That you can do it. That you can achieve the things despite what you have. You understand? You have no excuses anymore. It's either you're going to do everything in your power to do it, and as long as you try your best, and as long as you're pushing yourself just a little bit off of the minimum that you think you're doing or the normal that you're doing, and you're satisfied with your work and you're a little bit exhausted, but you're like, I did it, you'll be rewarded with something. You understand? It's not a complete loss. And the resilience will end up showing in everything that you do. Why? Because you're fighting on two fronts. You're fighting the battle within, and you're fighting the battle outside by proving to yourself that you're doing it regardless. And this resilience is key. This is your superpower. And I've told you guys this many times. It's your superpower. That you're still walking. You're still alive. You're still fighting. You have a fighting spirit, because if you didn't, you'd be already dead. You understand? And those of you who have experienced near death, you should be more in the state of mind like that you are a warrior. That your spirit is not going to die. It doesn't want to die. It's fighting. So that should wake you up and be like, okay, if my body, my mind, and my soul still survive this thing that could have killed me, then that means, what else am I capable of? You understand? The last thing is when you work with what you have. This is key, because maybe a lot of you with a condition that debilitates your body or weakens it, you're going to have to learn to work with what you have. So let's say you can't move as fast, or you're not as flexible, but you can do certain movements easier than the others. So I suggest you work on that. And the things you can't do are you exposing your weak points. Now, this is important. Exposing your weak points is important because that shows you what you got to work on. It's not a failure. It's not of like, oh, I can't do that. No, you should look at it as like, oh, so I'm having a hard time doing that. So that means I got to find a way to make myself stronger to be able to do that. Now, what's weird about that is simple, is that like when you work on something that you can't really do that exhausts you, the more and more you do, you'll get stronger. It doesn't get easier, you just get stronger. Okay? And then you'll start to open doors that were previously closed to you. And that ends up inspiring you more to see what else you could do. So like let's say you can't touch your toes, but you could touch your knees. So let's say you stretch to your knees and then you try to push a little bit past your knees and you just continue doing that. Eventually you'll get to the middle of your shins and you'll see the progress. One way to do that is what they recommend is that you take pictures. Or in this case, you could do what I do, which is record your workouts, record what you do. In my case, I not only record my workouts, but I share them with you guys. Because I want you guys to be strong too. So again, I know what it feels like to not have a support system. I know what it feels like to be in a situation like that we have, and you can't relate to people because they look at you and they're like, oh, you don't look sick, and you got to deal with that. And some people might say that you're lazy, and that hurts because you're like, well, I'm not lazy, but how else can I prove to you? You know, you can't take them to the hospital or talk to a doctor and tell them like, hey, doc, tell them, you know. But exposing your weak points is crucial. It's crucial for your growth. You want to look at it as the next step. You understand? Once you shift that state of mind from like, I can't do this to I know what to work on now, you'll transform faster. And it's a beneficial transformation because you'll stop looking at yourself in a negative light. You'll start looking at yourself as a project. And that's how you ultimately have to look at yourself. You're a project. You're the greatest project of your life. You're gonna make yourself into the person that you want to be by seeing what you can't do and working your way to being able to do it. Okay? And again, I'm not gonna lie and I'm not gonna, blow smoke up your chimney. I'm just gonna tell you that it's gonna be difficult, but as long as you stick to it and you consistently and consecutively do it. And again, I believe in not working out till exhaustion or till you're sore the next day. That's not how it's gonna work. We still have our life to live. So dedicate 10, 5, maybe even 15 minutes working out a day. And every now and then, let's say the third day, add one more rep. Or when you feel strong enough to do another one. You understand? You should get a slight sweat. But again, you're not going to make yourself sore the next day because you got to do it again the next day. And what I recommend is doing one exercise. Usually I would say start out with your legs. Then maybe once a week you do your arms or your back. And then the auxiliary workouts, meaning like the neck or their calves or something like that. But you want to stick to something to where you get familiar with it, and then you get kind of bored with it because you've already gotten used to it and you're probably getting good at it. When you're already getting bored with it is when you should be challenging yourself, or when you can do the workout so quickly and so efficiently that you're like, okay, it's time for me to add a rep or add a set. You understand? This is the way to mastery. This is the way to transformation, because you're already getting. It's gonna take time, but once you're gonna notice it. You're gonna notice it. Basically, what I'm saying, you're gonna notice when you've gotten stronger. And once you've gotten stronger, you should challenge yourself. No one else is gonna do it. Remember, no one else is gonna work out for you. No one else is gonna help you look at the things that you need to look at. You got to kind of put yourself out there, see what you can and cannot do, and work on the things you can't and reinforce the things you can. But always work on the things you can't first before working on the things you're already good at. That way, you know you're making progress because you're struggling in the beginning and then reinforcing the things that are already stronger. Okay? That way, you have a sense of accomplishment. And yes, so the consumption is very important. Make sure you are watching what you are consuming, whatever media, whatever food, whoever you surround yourself with, and whatever you're thinking inside your mind, because that's the ultimate person that can help you in this transformation is yourself. When you're alone, what are you thinking about? And whatever you're thinking about, is it something that helps you feel better? That helps you feel like you could do something? That helps you think that you're able to accomplish something? Does it help you believe or think that you can overcome this? Think about that. Even when you talk to people, try to listen to what you're saying. Don't allow your feelings to get the best of you. Listen to what you're saying. Is what you're saying something that a winner would say? Or is it somebody that accepts their fate and doesn't want to change would say? You understand? This is very important because that translates to everything else. I know it sounds ridiculous that how could one thought that I think of when I'm alone or when I'm talking to people, how I speak or how I do things, gonna affect everything else? Because that's your foundation. And so your foundation has to be positive for you to have a positive change or a beneficial change. So you gotta be careful with who you surround yourself with, what you're watching, what you're listening to, how you speak, the words that you use, and how you go about looking at things. You have to develop a can-do attitude, a winner mindset when it comes to dealing with these life-altering, life-changing diseases. Because if you are not watching that, that could have been ultimately the thing that that broke the camel's back. That straw that broke the camel's back. Because again, it starts with that. If that's the basis and that's the foundation, then everything you experience from then on out comes from that thought. So like if you're somebody who's negative or gives excuses all the time, and all you ever think about is like, oh, I can't because of this and because of that, then you're already putting yourself in a state of mind of like, oh, I can't because of this and because of that. And so you're going to continue putting yourself in positions where you repeat that phrase. Oh, I can't because of this and because of that. You can't do that. Not with this, man. It's too deadly. It's too deadly. Or it has repercussions that are too devastating for you. You can't put yourself in that. It's not good. For those of you who've been in and out of the hospital, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who are in some kind of dialysis or blood infusion, you know what I'm talking about. I know it sounds ridiculous how could one thought be the basis of all of that? I challenge you to try it. Listen to what you're saying to yourself in your mind or what you think when you're by yourself. Be somewhere for 3 hours by yourself and watch what you're thinking about. Get a notebook, get a piece of paper, or record what you're saying, and then listen to it later on. And then think about it as if that's not you. What is this person saying? Or what did you write down? Why did you say that? Why did you write that? Where does that come from? Where is the basis of that? And that'll slowly reveal who that person is. And that person is you. So if that person is negative or says things that really cut you at the knees, then that's the ultimate enemy. And you don't want yourself to be the ultimate enemy because they're always with you. You understand? So you got to make yourself your ally, your best friend, your greatest supporter, the person who loves you the most, understands you the most because they're with you all the time. The mind is your greatest weapon and your strongest enemy. Make him or her your greatest weapon, your greatest supporter, your greatest ally. Because they're only going to do what you think. So make it worthwhile. Make it that's something that's supporting you all the time, that's helping you reach levels that you thought you would never reach in a positive way. Okay? No one's going to save you. You have to save yourself. No one's going to work out for you. You have to work out for yourself. No one's going to help you do the things that you got to do. And if they are, they're not going to do it all the time. You got to remember that. You got to do it for yourself. If you really want it, you got to do it for yourself. So with that, I'm leaving you guys. Please like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next time. Bye.